Hey there, and welcome to Week 14 of NCAA Picks. We got Bobby and Josh, and I'm John, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. And we're going to talk about, this is Rivalry weekend, a lot of big rivalry games that are coming up. And so first, let's jump on the ACC and see what's going on with the ACC.
Well, first we know that number 2 Florida State goes on the road to play Florida.
Normally a very exciting game.
Sure.
Normally, except after last week's embarrassing loss in Florida, I don't think that many Florida State fans are looking that worried about this game.
Now this game, though, does kind of hurt Florida State in a sense. Florida not being traditionally strong, whereas, Ohio State's there, although their schedule doesn't really stack up either. But knowing that Florida is traditionally a tougher game that would help their schedule, it's really not so much this year.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be an easy game for Florida State.
Now, an interesting ACC-SEC matchup, another big rivalry game, Clemson, South Carolina. That's a big one this year.
Yeah, it's a top 10 matchup, two good teams.
Yeah. Traditionally, Clemson has a way of just losing to South Carolina, so,
Which is inexplicable. A lot of times they've got the talent. Yeah.
Sure, that's Dabo Swinney, we know, the Alabama boy, does not like Spurrier, and there's been a lot of feuding over the years. So it'll be interesting to see how it comes. I feel like Clemson's going to bring their A game. Will it be enough? I don't know. Going to South Carolina, Columbia, that's a tough crowd.
Yeah.
And the last one in the ACC is Duke is going to UNC. This is the other side of the conference, and that's kind of a if-year side. Duke's aiming to not necessarily one of the strongest programs, though.
Sure.
But, yeah, one of their stronger seasons, for sure. I mean, they've looked really good this season. And UNC, like we were talking about earlier, they've been coming along this year.
Yeah. I mean, this really could be a battle for the national championship if it was basketball. Because I mean, it was an NCAA tournament or whatever you want to call it. Because, I mean, traditionally Duke and UNC are the bread and butter of college basketball. But, being football, it's kind of funny this has relevancy. But don't count out UNC. They put up 80 last week on a FCS opponent, but they've come on strong since a slow start. And it's a rivalry game. It's at UNC. See if Duke can handle the pressure of being ranked.
Okay, now let's move over to the West Coast and talk about the Pac-12. And as we mentioned last week, the conference that has just fallen apart, and they continue to fall apart.
Sure.
It just is a crazy conference this year. We got UCLA, who's ranked at number 22, and they're playing their arch rival USC. Sure. So what do we think about that game? What's going to happen?
Well, USC just keeps getting better and better. After they fired
Lane Kiffin,
I mean, it's just really
best move they made.
That's what's saving their season so far. They're actually ranked now, while UCLA just came off of a pretty one-sided game against Arizona State.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, both teams are, 22nd, 23rd, so they are ranked. There's a little bit of relevancy to this game, but if it was me, I got my remote here, I'm just going to click, change to the next channel. I don't know. I think USC could win this, but I think, Jim Mora's got UCLA playing very well too, so it's a coin flip for me. I say USC at home.
In this game doesn't really matter unless Arizona State loses, because right now Arizona State has the lead on that side of the conference, while Pac-12 on
So do you
Stanford.
think Arizona State's going to lose to Arizona?
I do not think Arizona State is going to blow that against Arizona.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that makes it sort of a mute point over there.
You think Arizona State will lose to Arizona?
No, we don't.
No. I think Arizona State's going to pull that one off. And the one other one, you got Stanford. Who?
Notre Dame.
Why on earth are they still in the top 10?
Yeah.
I do not understand that, why they're still in the top 10, but I guess,
They're an academic school, maybe that's not bad.
But they're going to be playing Notre Dame, who's, an independent team, but definitely a rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
These two teams hate each other, and so it should be a good battle. They'll be playing in South Bend, right?
Right, but still, Notre Dame, seriously, I mean, they lost to Purdue, people.
Sure, seriously. I'm going back for the remote on this one, and click, we're going to the next channel.
All right, and speaking of the next channel, let's talk about the Big Ten. And so, in the Big Ten, we've got Minnesota is going to be playing number 11, Michigan State. We all think Michigan State's going to take this one, right?
I want to see if Minnesota can get positive rushing yards against Michigan State.
It's going to be tough.
All I know is I was very impressed with Minnesota, and last week in their game, even though they lost, when they had a field goal attempt for the other team, they put that giant staring gopher on the screen. That was hilarious. I mean, the kicker still made it, but that was genius. So if Minnesota puts a big gopher on the screen again, every field goal. You know,
It's at Michigan State. They don't have that.
You don't know if Michigan State can put up that kind of pressure.
A new tradition, maybe anyone? No. Okay, Ohio State and Michigan.
Ohio State and Michigan, traditionally a big game this year. Gosh, Michigan has just struggled so much this year. It looks like Ohio State's just not going to have much of a tough time.
But let's remember, it's at the big house. And I don't want to be overly, optimistic here, but Michigan at home, again, this is their bowl game. This is their season. If they could find a way to bring it together, you never know. In rivalry games, this is fun.
But of course, Ohio State is trying to show that, hey, we deserve a chance at this national championship.
Which, hey, if they destroy Michigan, that's impressive.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
if
not,
they destroy them, it is
they're
impressive.
an average team. You don't.
Of course, Michigan State will be waiting in the background right there, waiting for the opportunity.
Oh,
to go against them as well.
They're winning it.
Okay, Mr. Mountain West. Let's talk about Mountain West and what's happening. Yeah. We're not going to talk a lot about Boise, are we?
No, we can't really get to talk about Boise this time.
Let me just jump in here about Boise because I'm just interested. I'm just so disappointed because last year San Diego State kind of surprised Boise State.
Yeah.
And it was at Boise State. And so this year I figured, Boise State's looking for revenge. They're going to come out all cylinders, just gung-ho. And then it just didn't happen. They melted in overtime. And so I was just a little shocked.
Boise is not very strong
We're
this year.
a really young team this year.
Yeah.
We have, I think, almost 7 true freshmen.
Sure. Quarterback injury.
Quarterback's injured. He's coming back this week. A little late, granted, but still. Sure. So it's just hard when you lose your starting quarterback.
You got number 15, Fresno. Undefeated. They haven't been beaten yet this season. They don't really get much respect, though. You've got Northern Illinois.
It's the battle
You've got
between
Northern
Fresno State
Illinois.
and Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois is ranked better than they are, and you would think that Fresno is in a little bit tougher conference than Northern Illinois.
Well, the thing is, a lot of teams Northern Illinois is going against are like 8-1 teams just because they don't go against anybody. Granted, the one loss like against Buffalo or something, but still.
Yeah. But I think it's a resume that Northern Illinois has built. Because last year they won a bowl game, and realistically, they played pretty decent with Florida State until the end. Yeah. And in traditionally years past, Northern Illinois has had a pretty decent team. So I think it's kind of that one thing where you build a resume. Kind of
so Fresno hasn't had a chance to do that.
I don't think they have. They've had pretty tough games over the years that they've played close, but they've never really gotten over that hump. So they've got to build a reputation that they get to.
Utah State's also wanting to go against Fresno in the Mountain West game, but they're going to have to go past Wyoming. If they lose to Wyoming, that gives other teams another chance who already have 2 losses. Also, Boise State, yes. And so hopefully,
I know you're chomping at the bit, hoping that Boise State
gets
huge
Wyoming fan
another shot at Carr and that Fresno machine there.
Go Cowboys.
Okay, let's talk about Big 12 and talk about a meltdown this past week.
I didn't see that. He saw it coming. I didn't. I thought Baylor was going to be able to win this, and man,
Cowboys looked strong against Baylor, and Baylor they couldn't do anything last week. So
what is it about the Big 12 where last year Kansas State was in the driver's seat. They just needed to win, beat Baylor, and they were going to the national title. And then all of a sudden it just fell off the road. So it seems
like Oregon does every year.
Yeah. So it seems like the Big 12 is having a history now of just having a clear path and then just going off course.
And once again, the tough team in the Big 12 right now looks like Oklahoma State. They play Oklahoma next week for their big rivalry.
And my question is, I'm pretty sure Baylor's still also ranked in the top 10. How does that work?
I don't know. How can you get destroyed and still be in the top 10? I do not know. Okay, now let's finish off with talking about the SEC. First of all, we've got Texas A&M, number 21. They've struggled.
They just got demolished by LSU.
They got creamed by LSU. Yes.
Sure. All respect for Texas A&M is gone.
Well, I didn't have that much respect in the first place, but
I think to LSU at home is always a tough game. Yeah. I mean, it really is. But Death Valley.
But if you're Mr. Heisman, you're supposed to shine in tough games, and he didn't shine at all.
No, he's not winning the Heisman. Anyway,
but they're going to play Missouri. Number 5, Missouri. Wow.
This is a Missouri team that couldn't win a game last year. Barely did win.
This is a show-me game for Missouri. Oh. This is a statement game. If they can go out there and beat Texas A&M, then everyone's saying that the winner of Alabama-Auburn is guaranteed to road to the national title. If Missouri makes enough of a statement, let's say they come out and just beat them by a couple touchdowns, that's more than Alabama did. So it's hard to do comparisons like that. But at the same time, you give them respect. If Missouri goes in, beats Texas A&M.
And
I think
also,
you've got to give them a little more
credit. This sets Missouri up. If they win, no matter what, they're going to play either Alabama or Auburn.
And speaking of Alabama or Auburn, we've got the Iron Bowl coming up this week. Huge game.
Huge game.
We've got number 4 Auburn facing number 1 Alabama. That's a big game.
That is a big game.
Yeah. So what do you guys think is going to happen this week?
Well, as Bobby was saying, he's saying that he thinks Auburn's
Is it
offense
sort of hot in
is
here?
overall better.
I feel like it's
Oh,
on the
no.
warm side.
What is this?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Wow, okay. He's saying that Auburn's offense is better than Alabama's.
I think so.
Which I said, okay, maybe not.
Sure.
Alabama has A.J. McCarron. They still have fumbling problems at the running game, but still. Auburn, you can't count them out just yet.
No, I agree with that. You can't count Auburn out. They're looking strong. They got the run game down.
Sure. I believe sometimes there's just teams of destiny, and when that lucky pass against Georgia happened, sometimes
goodness.
you just feel like, man, it's a team that's meant to just go and do it all. And so, with this game, anytime it's hard to pick against Alabama.
Yeah.
But knowing that Auburn is a team that can run the ball, they're not just this flashy,
And they've got it
sling
at
it
home,
around.
Too.
And they've got it
It's
at
a home game.
They're not just going to sling it around. I think Auburn's got a big chance to win. And we forget this game is possibly even bigger than the game when Alabama and Auburn played when Cam Newton beat them, because Alabama had already had a loss or two going into that game. They were playing spoiler. Yeah. This is winner potentially takes all of going to the national title. So who do you guys like in this, man? Well said there.
I would think that I like Alabama in this one, and I think what matters in this game is that Alabama has to set the pace from the beginning.
Sure.
They can't just goof up. They can't have any crazy turnovers.
Sure.
And give Auburn good field position early on. They can't do that. And if they control the ball, I think Alabama can pull it off.
I think a really big thing to notice here is Auburn's one loss to LSU. Who has a good defense.
Sure,
and they showed that against Texas A&M. So all you really have to do here is have a good defense, and you can beat Auburn.
If you stop Auburn's run, do they have anything else?
Auburn's quarterback is going to be shocked today when he's going to be getting hit by these 300-pound linemen. He's not going. Their offensive line might be able to get this run game going and stuff, but if you only have a run game, you're not going to be able to win this game. You're going to have to be able to throw the ball, and he will not be able to throw against Alabama.
I'm going to disagree, and I think that if it's a ball control game, which Alabama typically likes, you get into a tight matchup where if Auburn can run the ball some, Alabama traditionally likes to run the ball. I don't think we're looking at a high-scoring affair. I think we're looking at a 24-27 type game where if Auburn can run the ball consistently, that's what Alabama likes to do. So they almost offset, so it could go either way. So I think Auburn's got a good shot.
You're saying that, except Alabama has A.J. McCarron, who is a heck of a lot better quarterback than Auburn's quarterback. If they need him to, he can throw the ball.
Running quarterback.
They don't need a running quarterback. They already have a run game. They have 3 running backs that they use every week against teams. They just bring them in, keep running.
I don't feel like Alabama's offense has been as dominant as it's been in years past. I don't see the just. I mean, yes, they're winning 35-0.
But I also think they're playing pretty conservative.
Yeah.
It's just run up the middle kind of ball.
That's true.
King Crimson, I think they're going to finally unleash him.
I think Auburn's got a shot.
All right. So I just say whichever team has the higher score at the end of the game wins.
I just hope that it's not going to be another showing AJ's girlfriend in the crowd type of game.
Well, a lot of people hope that it is one of those games. All right, but we're looking forward to Rivalry Week, and we'll see you next week.